Hello and welcome to Alban Acres. Last week we planted our garden with all these tomato plants, and they have grown up quite a bit in just 1 week. And so as they grow up, tomato plants, when they start to get higher, 2-3 feet in height, and then they start getting loaded down with fruit, they have a tendency to want to droop over. So it's absolutely imperative that you support them in some way. And there's all sorts of different methods that we've tried in the past. We've done the cheap tomato cages, and we've even bought some nicer ones this year that we're going to try out. But for most of the plants, what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to a method called the Florida weave. And it's basically a string support system, but before we can do that, I got to get to building. So let's go do that. But before we get started, I wanted to talk about what we did in the past. So last year we did the tomatoes up with these really cheap wire tomato cages that you see everywhere. And the idea with these is that you would come in and very carefully, I don't know if I want to do this one-handed, but very carefully stake it around the plant. And then as the plant grows up, it's supposed to provide support. Now, the problem is that these cages are very thin and flimsy, but they are cheap. And what we found last year is that when the tomatoes got big, the plants got tall and the fruit got heavy, the wind would actually bend these cages over, and they just seemed insufficient. So this year, Marie purchased some of these. I think she got them from Berlin Seeds. We follow another channel, More Than Farmers, and these cages are, a little bit more expensive, but they're very sturdy, or they seem to be. Now, we haven't tried these yet or tried to use them, but they do seem much better so far. But the problem is we only bought 4 of them, and as you can tell, we have a lot more tomato plants. So what we did is we actually just put them in the bed kind of in a weird diamond pattern. I don't know if you can kind of see how we did, so that the corners intersect each plant, and each plant will grow up through the corner, and we're just going to tie off each one as it grows up through the cage here. Also, because they kind of touch each other, it makes for a very rigid structure. So this is what we're going to try in this bed this year, rather than the Florida weave that we're going to attempt. So the first step in getting the Florida weave system going is going to be to use my handy dandy job worksite table saw here, and we're going to rip some of these 2x4s down the middle because, wood is expensive and I don't want to buy any more. So we're going to get 2 for the price of 1. Okay, now that the posts are up, we're going to start the weave part of the Florida weave. We purchased this box of twine online. It says Savvy Tomato Twine, 6,000 feet, and it was only 12 bucks on Amazon. This will last us for years to come because I only need about a couple hundred feet for probably this whole year. So it's pretty easy to use. You just pull it out of the top of the box and just keep running with it. These plants here are actually a little short, and we're gonna have to twine it pretty low. So now with the line secure, I want to make sure that it's at a good height, and very easily I'm gonna go on this side of the plant first, and then my next pass through I'm gonna go on the other side of the plant like that. All right, I'm not pulling too tight. And then as you go down, I'm gonna go on the back side of the plant and then on the front side of the plant, right? And then when I get over here, I loop around my pole and we're gonna do exactly the opposite. So right here, I went on this front side of the plant here. So now as I go back, we're gonna come on this back side. And you see this weaving pattern will just give it some support so that the plants will be able to support themselves going forward and backwards. And as it grows up, we continue this, this weaving as the plant grows. So we just come out here every couple days and just call it a day. So now that we're at the end, grab your knife, should always have one, and then just tie it up. Now the proper knot for this is the one you can tie. All right, and so now we have it, and I'll just adjust these knots. Gives it a little bit more support as the plants grow up, and it'll protect them from, you know, the weight of the fruit, and as the wind comes, from them getting blown over and stuff like that. Okay, now with this first one in place, it's time to get the rest of them done. All right, well, that didn't take too long. Honestly, it's worth the time and effort that we put into it because it's gonna help improve the strength of the plants as they grow up, and it'll increase the harvests as we go. But just that little bit of work and having those trellis strings there to help support the plant is gonna go a long way for peace of mind, just knowing that our tomatoes are well taken care of. Now, I'm not so sure how these are going to work out. They definitely are stronger. I just don't know if they're going to end up getting in the way and inhibit the growth. But, you know, time will tell. That's why we try to do these things. Anyway, well, I appreciate you guys coming along on this. We'll keep you updated as we continue with the Florida weave method. And I'll let you know how it all goes. But thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. And if you really liked it, hit that like button. We appreciate it. Thanks, and bye for now from Alvin Akers.